Y'all set?
Yeah.
Let's hit the road.
Cool.
Having a mood music here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right. Welcome back to the Okayest Cook podcast. I'm your host, Chris Whonsetler, and I'm here on location in the Cunningham restaurant group. Grow? Garden? What's this place called?
Yeah, Grow.
It's Grow, the CRG Grow. And I'm with Collin Hilton, super cool chef, and we got some stuff to talk about here.
Sure thing, man.
A little bit.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming here.
Yes. Well, real quick, some facts. I'm wearing my BHA hat, my Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, because I'm heading to the Rendezvous next week. And we came up with some cool little play on other restaurants' stickers. You can tell me what you think about those as a professional here. But as the Okayest, it's kind of like a little double meaning. So we took our logo, smashed it on top of some other establishments.
We won't say their names.
We won't say their names, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, the highest form of flattery is getting a cease and desist from them, right?
I know, right. Just trying to get some attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like the double meaning of like, hey, like I'm just okay cook, so maybe I just eat out too much, or it's my commitment to replacing this food with my own.
Sure.
So I'm taking my food and putting it, replacing them with my own food. So trying to get real. One of our big sayings, I guess, or one of our big mottos is eat real food. And that's basically what every chef we talk to says, like, hey, how do I improve my cooking?
Right.
Use real ingredients, use real food, and just look around us. Like, we're surrounded by real food.
Yeah, it's pretty real.
And I'm assuming this is stuff that like people will be eating probably later today or like tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, probably tomorrow or the next few days. But yeah, no, it all goes to people.
Yes.
That's at least the edible ones. There's a couple glamour plants in here.
Yeah, I see some of those. Yeah. I was going to ask how you use all those in your cooking.
They just keep showing up. I don't know.
Just producing oxygen. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But if you guys are local here to Indy, I'm assuming you guys might do tours or you do events here. In this space,
yeah, I mean, so far we haven't done a ton just because I've been the only one really cooking them. And it's I do have a day job outside of doing that, or responsibilities, I guess is a better way of putting it. But yeah, we've done a few wine dinners here. Historically, we do wine dinners just because it's a little easier to do like pairings and multiple courses. It's kind of hard to just choose a random spot and play restaurant and have like a server and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a really special time. I get ecstatic doing it every single time, and it seems to be boding well for people that get involved. So
absolutely, yeah. But it's just, if you make it here, doing a wine dinner or something, there are just rows and rows of basil. And you got more growing in the seedling bin. Yeah. It's just so much basil, and it's awesome. And I'm just dreaming. Like, my wife and I love pesto, and like we can't get enough of it.
Right.
And it's kind of ironic that we're sitting here in a greenhouse because my garden is not doing well at all right now.
Mine as well. It had too much water, not enough sun so far.
See, mine is just laziness.
Well, I mean,
too much.
Realistically, it's I don't know what I'm doing, but
yeah, you got people helping you here, but yeah, at home, I don't know what happened. The brain just stopped working at garden season. I didn't do my seeds soon enough.
Oh yeah.
The stuff that goes straight to the garden, like I didn't plant that soon enough. And luckily though, we have some rogue cilantro popping up. Ooh. Just tons of pumpkins and tons of cilantro.
There you go.
Because I love the coriander seeds. So I let a couple go to seed every year. And man, that stuff is just everywhere.
That's awesome.
So taco nights have been awesome.
That's actually, of the things that we sprout here, we do coriander.
Nice.
And they don't take the seed off of the little sprout.
I noticed
when they harvest it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the coolest flavor. I mean, I think surprisingly a lot of people don't know that that's the same plant. I mean, unless if you're not from the States, you just call the plant coriander. So maybe it makes a little more sense. But
English, jeez.
I know. What do we know?
Yeah.
But yeah. really cool flavor profile. So I'm right there with you.
Well, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but was that your dish that had the cilantro coriander at MOKAO?
Oh, at MOKAO, yeah. I put,
Okay.
I want to say, we might have ended up actually putting it on multiple dishes because I got a little extra, and I think another chef, the garnish they brought was looking a little sad. It was pretty warm in that building too.
It was.
I think we ended up using it multiple spots.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I remember that at the event, and we'll put a pause on that real quick. We'll come back to MOKAO in a minute.
Yeah,
but
put a pin in it.
Have you? Actually, before I'm looking at this right now, so I am sitting with a world food champion. I don't know how much you like talking about that, but
sure, happy to talk about anything.
I was feeling a little intimidated, so I had to bring my little trophy. And this,
oh man, that's awesome,
is something that I won, and I haven't talked about it yet. This is it feels good. This is my Traeger game day ring.
Wow.
And it is not as cool. I'll let you hold it here.
Oh,
it's not as cool as your title, the World Food Champion, but it's my little claim to fame here. It says I'm the goat, the grilling goat.
Look at that.
It is, I don't want to diminish it, but I'm pretty sure it's just a random lottery of people who submit into the contest. It's so freaking cool.
That's really cool. That's got some weight to it. I know you can't pick that up on a podcast, but that's
and it's shiny and it's got all the things going for it. And I'm going to wear it the rest of the episode.
You should.
To feel,
it's kind of a little power move.
Just to equal the playing field.
Sure, love it.
No, there's no way. I'm not on your playing field at all. It just makes me feel better. So
I like it.
But I'm still going to wear it.
Yes, please.
So on that note, now the silliness is over. Have you eaten anything cool lately? Any notable meals?
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game is trying to always eat notable meals. I mean, we were talking before we started recording. We're both got families back home, so I mean, I'm not really eating out as much as I used to be, or diving into that. But
that's good.
We're always cooking. I mean, does that count too? As like the home meals and stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah, those are the most notable, I would say.
I mean, I'm on a big tofu kick right now.
Okay.
I feel like it's a really underused ingredient, understood, a not understood ingredient, including myself. It's something that I'm not like very familiar with.
In my opinion, unless you're like vegetarian, vegan, it's almost a taboo thing. Like if you eat meat, like we just don't talk about tofu because what's the point?
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, like I've had a lot of really bad tofu, and generally
not stinky tofu, right? Or just
no, not like nasty tofu. Just like not like tofu dishes out there in the world that are just like I don't know. Like I'm kind of like over the fried tofu personally. I don't love that like dried spongy texture in my mouth. No judgment on anybody that's into that and what have you. And I'm not vegetarian, and I'm not trying to like replace protein in my diet or anything. I really like a nice soft tofu, and so I've been really into kind of subbing it into where classically I'd put like a cheese.
Okay.
So like where you might eat like mozzarella or a burrata or something like that. So I just last night my wife and I ate like some like silken tofu that we just like diced up some tomatoes and roasted corn, and then kind of made a little chili oil over top of it.
Oh my gosh.
It pretty awesome. I mean,
that's cool. Well, it's funny you mentioned chili oil because I just ordered some yesterday. Cool. The algorithm got me. I think it saw that we were talking. Sure. We were talking about pasta.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: we're going to talk about pasta here in a little bit. But Momofuku ads came up, and I've been watching David Chang for ages, and I've never tried his little noodle packets, so I just bought some.
Cool.
And I'm real excited about that. I think they had a 4-buy-3 get 1 free deal. And so it's like, all right, you got me.
Awesome.
And then of course tack on X dollars for free shipping. So okay, I'll buy some chili oil.
Just add it up, yeah.
But huge chili oil fan, so I'm really excited about that. But I'm really excited about the noodles. And they had a Sichuan pepper one. And I've got some experience with Sichuan, and it just, I love what it does.
Yeah.
We haven't had a conversation with a food scientist yet, or like food chemistry. Like I'm hoping that's coming up. But like I really want to know like what's that Sichuan doing? Because if you haven't had Sichuan, it's like
Oh yeah.
I mean, how would you explain it? It's just like
numbing,
just weird and
tingly.
It's not spicy.
It's floral, if anything. Like
Yeah.
you get most of the flavor of Sichuan peppercorn from, I think, olfactory. So like you're smelling it more.
You can't taste it anymore.
Yeah, and it quite literally kind of like numbs your palate.
If you put too much, it'll get you real hard.
I'm not, by no means am I an expert in this, but I like in kind of classic Chinese cuisine, their approach, they think they say there's like 8 flavors versus our 5 or something. They have multiple types of spicy, and that Sichuan lands under the numbing spicy, and that's considered its own flavor.
I can see that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I see
different than habanero, obviously, but
yeah, absolutely
sensationally speaking,
but delicious in conjunction with a spicy pepper as well. So
it might help with the spicy pepper too. If it doesn't,
I mean
I wonder if it like battle or like counteracts some of that.
It has this little symbiotic. I don't know about that. If it like helps you kind of like numbs the pain a little bit. It's an interesting question. Yeah,
because I adore habanero. Like just the flavor.
Cool.
And I forget what it's called, and I can't find it. It's essentially a habanero pepper that is not spicy.
Hey,
do you know what those are called?
It's called a habanada.
Okay.
The company that created the seed is called Row 7 Seeds, based out of New York.
Okay. I need to buy more.
We are growing some right behind me.
No way.
So we'll make sure you leave with some of that.
Oh,
yeah,
because like just the flavor of habanero is such a beautiful thing, but a lot of people just can't get over the spice.
It's intense.
Like it is my limit. Like I'll eat habaneros, but if it's hotter than a habanero, like I can't do it. It's just too much.
Right there with you. I mean, I struggle with it too, and I love like Caribbean food and like Yucatan food, which is like leans heavily on that, and I'm still a guy from Indiana, white guy from Indiana, so
we don't do spice here.
Yeah, we try.
That's funny. But you're growing some. That is so cool.
Yeah, no, I love it. Actually, my when I first came to CRG, my now boss, he brought me here kind of in the interview process, and he too was like, "Oh, here's this pepper. I'm not really sure what that is." And like for just freak chance, am kind of obsessed with this seed company.
Nice.
And so I was like, "Oh, that's a habanada." And
oh my gosh,
spouted out. Maybe it helped me get the job or something, but I spouted out
got that clout.
The like 4 facts that I had that I just gave to you too. But yeah,
that's super cool. Look those up if you are a fan of just delicious peppers. Because like I mean, do you follow Dr. Hobie on Instagram? He's like
I don't.
He's a doctor. I'm not exactly sure what he's a doctor
of. Yeah.
But he's like, all his videos are just him just eating food. And just like, I think he's got some vision impairments. So he's just like an expert at explaining just what things taste like.
That's awesome.
And he's like taking a bite and he's like just rattling off like 10 different things. I'm like, what? Like you could taste that? But he did a habanero the other day and he just picked it up and just started chomping on it. And he's like, woo, that's spicy. But then he's just like rattling off pineapple and mango and some floral stuff. Just like, wow, this guy can taste some food.
It's a complex flavor for sure. I mean, that's cool.
Yes.
I'll definitely check him out. Dr. Hobie.
Yeah, cool. we'll have to link him in the show notes here. Super cool account to follow. Like if you're a fan of just like me, like I'm just trying to learn how to explain like what's happening on my tongue. Like how do I explain this? Like all the wine connoisseurs and like typically if people tell me what to look for, I can find that in a flavor.
Right. But identifying it yourself, it's a little more challenging.
Yeah, that's a skill I'm trying to work with for sure. Dr. Hobie's super cool. Look him up.
I will.
And we are way off topic here.
Sure.
So
sorry.
I don't know how to ring us back in here outside of just you talking about yourself. Sure. Can you kind of tell the listeners kind of a little bit about who you are and then how you got here, like to CRG, and then I guess if you end your story at World Food Championship, we'll just kind of like roll straight into what we're here to talk about.
Definitely an interesting milestone in my career and life.
I'd say more than interesting.
It's been a lot of things. It's been fun, but I am a chef here based out of Indianapolis. I'm from here, born in Terre Haute, but grew up in Indianapolis.
Nice.
Kind of started your classic go to college, all those things. Didn't really see myself with the direction I was going. I took a lot of philosophy classes, and just like everything I was attracted to just kept saying, this is all kind of made up fake stuff. Go do something real. Go touch something real. Go touch something, work with something that is tangible.
Sure.
And so I ended up going to culinary school out in Arizona, working out there for a while. Came back here briefly, and then started traveling. Kind of used cooking as a one-way ticket to South America. Spent like half a year down there. Ended up moving to California after that. Spent a little over a decade in San Francisco Bay Area, cooking in kitchens, running kitchens, doing pop-ups, all the random things.
Yeah.
Kind of really defined who I am as a cook now, as being out there, and like my attraction to integrity of ingredient sort of thing, which makes sense why we now find ourselves sitting in a greenhouse. It's like I just kind of am sort of chasing the ingredients. But we had a daughter and wanted to move back to here and raise her around a family. We didn't really have that out in California, and so moved back, and I kind of stumbled into CRG. I didn't know a ton about the restaurant group or anything, but I needed a job and applied to be a chef at one of the restaurants, and they ended up deciding that I might have a little bit more value, being more on the corporate side of things, helping with menu development, doing private events, things like that. And so it's where I find myself now as the corporate chef de cuisine is the title.
Nice.
And then from
like
there,
that title.
Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it.
It does.
CDC. And then just kind of since I've been back, trying to figure out what am I doing with my career? Like how do I have fun? I always want to learn. Kind of again another falling into it. The World Food Championship. There was an event, what they call a golden ticket event, where it's kind of like a prelim that I sort of accidentally participated in. Originally, I was just going to help a friend cook it, and then he ended up not being able to do it, and so I cooked it, and I didn't realize I was going to be like doing a competition that night and like having to come up with like a dish on the fly sort of thing. So that was pretty fun. And then turned into what the World Food Championship is. And so, they came to Indianapolis. Cool. I did noodle, won that. Had their finals just this end of March in Arkansas. And apparently
you won.
I won. Apparently did okay.
Yes. Well, you did a phenomenal podcast with Nate Spangle. Yeah. And we're going to link that down below because you go into like a lot of really cool detail just about that event.
Right.
So we're not going to go there because you've already done that with Nate.
I don't need to.
And I want the listeners, go to Nate. Like he's an awesome page, just everything Indiana. Mm-hmm. Like, Nate is your guy.
He is the guy.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful conversation. Like I love the level of detail he went into, just your state of mind.
Sure, we got through the nitty gritty for sure.
My only disappointment was like we didn't talk as much about the food as I wanted to hear.
Sure.
So that's why I got you in front of me right now.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So two dishes we're going to talk about. Your World Food Event dish, and then when we officially met, we've probably bumped shoulders in the past, like unknowingly, but it was at a MOKAO event. Mm-hmm. So our episode with Ariel and Yusuf, they hosted this beautiful MOKAO event, and it was just all. How do you explain MOKAO? It's just culture, coffee, chocolate.
Yeah, I mean that's a great way of putting it. I mean it's hard to. I mean,
you can't wrap it up into a sentence. I mean, you had to experience it.
Right. I mean, Yusuf and Ariel do a very great job of throwing these things together that are like kind of blows your mind, grabbing this thing here, this thing over there, and jamming it together and doing cool food and art or something with it. And so it's just another great example
almost
of that.
Sensory overload because you got the beautiful food, you got beautiful art, just a cool setting.
Right. So, I mean, that specific one, I think, was trying to focus on just Africa as a continent as a whole, and kind of the production of cacao and coffee from there, and then what can we do with it. Yeah. So each one of us chefs kind of took that and ran with it
but that was a requirement of your dish, right? Like it had to have.
He wanted us to
both,
have coffee.
Either or.
He said one or the other. Okay. It was pretty loose. I mean, he's a chill guy. He's just like, just make it good. Like, cool. And so I ended up having a little bit of both, but you wouldn't have noticed. And
gotcha. Well, I hate saying this, but like I think your dish is the only one I didn't get to try at MOKAO, and I'm devastated because it was like, presentationally speaking, like one of my favorites.
Yeah,
like,
you took some beautiful photos of it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Just like it's that whole like it's the human element in a dish that really like takes it over the top. We had a conversation with a couple guys from the Outdoor Creative, Matt and Adam.
Cool.
They're stellar photo videographers, and Matt was talking about, hey, like just adding a little touch of human element into like your food photos.
Sure.
Just like takes it from here to here. Like people connect better with it.
That makes total sense.
So just the act of, and I forget if it was you or somebody else that was actually pouring the broth.
Yep.
Like in the photo as I was taking it, like that. Just
yeah, that makes sense.
It took it way up.
Human element right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up to the World Food Championship because that happened first, and I'm assuming like your MOKAO dish might have been inspired from that dish a little bit, or
yes and no. I think that I was wrapping up, figuring out what I was going to do for World Food at the exact same time I was having the conversation with Yusuf, and so I just did my head like I've only got like 2 brain cells, so I can't like shift and do a whole nother dish. I was like, I'm really into this idea of doing a stuffed pasta and a broth, and so I just kind of rolled with that. But so. It's hard to say which influenced which.
That might be where the similarities end.
Yeah.
It was a green pasta, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And then just in a broth. And then you had some beautiful organics on top of that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, they're you put photos next to each other, they look the same.
We'll slap them up right here. That's where they'll go, yeah.
So, but World Food, man, where do I begin? We want to talk about that dish.
Yeah, let's talk about, what was in the plate? Like, we can see the photo.
Sure. So, I mean,
tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, the criteria that they asked of us was to do just a dish that represented you. They called it your culinary journey, whether that's where you are now or where you've been. I didn't really know how to represent that because that's a kind of a pretty cerebral and in-depth question you have to ask yourself. People usually don't sit around and try to define who they are. I
haven't.
Right. As chefs, we just want to cook good food, and like we're geeks, so we get into like certain avenues at certain times in our life, and so I don't know. I just kind of try to do something geeky, but so I wanted to do pasta and broth because I love pasta and broth. That's just kind of what I'm into in terms of like.
We can almost like side tangent off that for a second because like honestly, until you presented that at MOKAO, I don't know if I've ever had pasta in broth. Well, I mean, ramen.
You've had ramen. You've had chicken noodle soup.
I guess, yeah. Scratch that.
You've had tons of pasta and broth, and it's like, and they're delicious.
It's not something that I think of. Like when I think pasta, I think Alfredo, red sauce.
Right.
I don't think of broth.
Yeah.
Like for some reason in my head, like ramen's over here and pasta's over here. Like
right. So maybe we use the word noodle. Is that better? Maybe when we say pasta, it sounds Italian, and then if we say noodle, it makes more sense.
But yeah, in my head, that's what's happening.
You are not alone. I think that's the majority of us. So I don't know.
So I wonder, like for the World Food. I mean, World Food judges are like they're on a different level. Like I'm not. Like my wavelength is not there. So like,
yeah. I
mean, you presented like I know you on Nate's episode, you said you wanted to do like a chicken noodle kind of inspired.
That's where it started, but
is that like just the whole like pasta in broth? Like, did that?
Yeah, I mean, I
excite them a little bit, or
yeah, I think they liked it. I mean, they obviously liked it.
They liked it.
They got it. I mean, that I'm not a fan of like having to like put something in front of somebody and then explain why it's good. So I think it stood up on its own. Yeah. It was still good, but hopefully it gets better with the story behind it. So I think that helped that I had this kind of. I'm just out of my mind. I tried to make chicken noodle soup and I couldn't figure it out. Help the narrative of it sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it was chicken noodle soup, but then how do you lean into doing some kind of weird or different stuff that's geeky?
Well, I'm going to pull up the photo here while you're talking about it.
Sure thing.
Just so I can remember, because you had a ton of greenery on top.
Yeah, I mean, so aesthetically, I kind of wanted it to look like a classic sort of Modena dish, tortellini and brodo, just like little stuffed pastas and like chicken broth sort of thing was kind of the look of it. Yeah. I was hoping for it. Kind of went all over the place with. You just keep adding stuff, man. You got to stop yourself sometimes.
Right.
But and like spring, trying to just be like, hey, I love peas. We stuffed. So the pasta is it's just like English pea blanched down with a ton of butter and cilantro.
Oh my gosh!
And that's just the filling. And then the pasta is green from seaweed.
Okay.
There's a little bit of basil as well, just to kind of
just
add to the color.
In the dough,
yeah. Trying to fit this all in an hour was an interesting bit.
Seriously, yeah.
But the pasta dough actually started in the blender to get it, just like adding, instead of doing it like on the table with a fork and eggs and stuff, let's just put it all into a blender.
So part of that hour, like you legit had to make pasta from scratch?
Yeah, you can bring all your ingredients, but they have to be like still packaged with a receipt, so that you're not cheating.
So you couldn't like pre-dice anything and
nothing.
Jeez.
Yeah, like you can't even open the packet. So it's like in the first few minutes you're even like fumbling with plastic. Like
because I think in your episode with Nate, you talked about like you had to go to the store.
Yeah,
Costco or Sam's Club the day before.
Sam's Club, yeah.
And just like you had to buy all your stuff.
Right.
For the meal. Gee whiz.
So they add just little levels of challenge to it that are make it even harder. But
it's a cooking show. Like it's got to be entertaining as well as educational.
Yeah. And then the other, like, I guess you got your two elements, like your pasta. And so we just did that. And then like broth, it's like if you really want to make a rich broth in an hour.
Can you?
Not great.
I
bought chicken stock like in a can or in a box, and then I got a chicken and we added the two and pressure cooked it.
Okay.
So just kind of like get that, like, I guess that head start with the chicken broth.
Yeah. How does that compare real fast? Like just pressure cooking versus just time on the range. Like is that?
It's not the same, but it has its uses.
It's
for
good
sure.
enough.
There's a couple things out there that I actually prefer to cook with a pressure cooker. I like beef tongue.
Okay.
I like the texture of a pressure cooker for whatever reason. I don't
just a little bit more solid, not quite as tender.
Maybe that's it. I can't really articulate
crunchy. Why. I when I think of tongue, like crunchy comes to mind. Like, and it's not like the crunchy like a chip. It's just like it's a really firm muscle.
Yeah. It's got. Yeah,
does that make sense to somebody else?
Yeah, it has its own. I mean, it's such a worked muscle.
Yeah,
it's always doing that. So.
But it's not like. What am I trying to say here? It's not tough, like another cut of meat. It's just it's. You just got to try. You just got to take it by the tongue sometime.
It's its own,
not your own tongue
cut of meat. Yeah.
But I could see that with tongue. Yeah, just cooking it low and slow on top of the stove, like it almost gets creamy.
Oh, for sure, because it's got all the the collagen, connective tissue, and gelatin in it.
I'll have to try that in the pressure cooker.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Because I think a little bit of a firmer tongue texture would be good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to like take it like 95% of the way.
Okay.
Drop it down, or cool it, cut it up, and then finish it on a grill or something. Like cook it like a steak thereafter. Is kind of what I like with tongue. But I'm digressing about pressure cookers. But
I took you in there.
Sure, yeah.
Back to chicken stock.
Yeah, back to chicken stock. Yes and no. I mean, you can't. There's no cheat for time. We all know that, or we are constantly trying to find that, but it
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Yeah. But it's a great second best. It definitely got us to
in the competition.
Yeah, pretty close. Like it was better than just pouring it straight out of a thing or trying to go straight from water. So it split the difference well.
Okay.
And they're fun. They're exciting. Pressure cookers. They steam and. Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah. So we pressure cooked that chicken broth and made that super quick, and then from there it's like the list of garnishes and things.
Yeah. How much do you have on here? I see.
I mean there's like two.
You got some peppers. Is that bell pepper?
No, it's just a cherry tomato.
Okay.
And then actually I brought herbs from the greenhouse here.
Beautiful.
So that's what you see right there is some marigold. Okay. It's called lemon gem is like the varietal of marigold, but it has this like bright lemony, citrusy, floral flavor that I like. I don't know. It's like one of the most delicious things. I can't get enough of it. So I wanted.
It's like legit, like part of like the flower marigold.
It is 100% a marigold flower.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Dude, I love those edible flowers. We were talking about nasturtiums just a minute ago, and just I'll have to try the marigold too. Because does it have like lemony flavors as well?
Yeah,
is that part of it?
We won't do it right now, but we'll go grab some of this stuff because it's really cool. So that was also to try. if I'm talking about like my culinary journey, I was trying to tie in that like, the times that I'm actually cooking for people, I tend to cook in this greenhouse here. So like here's like
super cool.
Something from the greenhouse that I brought.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then like the condiments that are on it hail from different parts of Mexico. So like the broth I flavored with this thing called Recado Negro.
Okay.
It's like a Mayan out of the Yucatan. If you're in like a market and you're looking at their dried chilies and stuff like that, you'll find this like just this pile of like black paste almost.
All right.
And it's just it literally is it's burnt chilies and a bunch of like seeds and different things. Everybody's got a different recipe for it, but it's counterintuitive to anything you would ever know to do, because it looks like you're just creating ash. Okay. And you're like, this can't be good. Like, this is going to be terrible. And then like the end product's like, whoa, this has like this depth of flavor.
Really?
Kind of like where you get like when you're burning an eggplant to make like baba ganoush or something, and you're like, man, I'm really burning that. I don't know
like
if
peppers on the range.
Correct. And you're like, I don't know. So it has kind of that depth of like smoky flavor to it. We use that to put into the broth, and that's where it gets that like dark color and sort of depth of flavor. And
that's
then
awesome.
Just to kind of go for it, since that was already spicy, we added another spicy element to it as well. And so we did salsa macha, which is kind of opposite side of Mexico in terms of where it hails from, but sort of an oil-based salsa.
So on the spicy scale, like we talked earlier with habanero, like where would this sit? Is this mid spicy level?
Mid spicy level. I felt like it. I wanted to take it to like right where your average person was maybe just past comfortable.
Okay.
When all the chefs that were judging kind of were saying that, like they're like, I guess if I had a critique, maybe this is too spicy.
Oh, really?
And they're like, it's not for me, but like if I like it, maybe it's too spicy. But it's like I'm trying to cook for them, sort of thing.
I see that.
So
like, I was curious, like how, like as a judge, like how do you balance like my own personal likes and dislikes? Like it could be a stunning dish, but if I don't like eggplant,
right,
like, I'm going to score it low just because I don't like eggplant.
I think it factors in. How do you not have it factor in? But I know that those judges there, they have like a category or a criteria that they're trained on called EAT. And I talked about it with Nate before, and I don't need to go into great detail, but it's like,
listen to Nate's.
Yeah, but it's like, here's rank, give it 50% for taste versus only this much for how it looks, sort of thing. So they're about as objective as they can be. It's still
all the shows they talk about that. Like Alton Brown on his shows is mentioned like, oh, I don't like the taste of this, but here's the positives.
Right.
And the Great British Bake Off is good about that. Like,
sure,
they're just like, well, like me personally, I don't like this, but it's still good.
Right.
Like, you still get a handshake because
I see what you did.
Yes. Well, that's awesome. Like I really want to try this. So if you bring it back at one of the restaurants, you have to give me a call. Like I would love to go give it a try.
Yeah.
And I guess on that note of not trying things, like if you're done discussing this dish,
I mean,
we could spend the whole episode just reminiscing about that one dish.
Yeah,
but
no need.
We're getting there on time. So if you want to transition to MOKAO and talk about that one real quick.
I mean,
and again, the photo will be here-ish.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, it's like photo-wise, they look very similar. Talking
ish.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a green pasta inside some broth.
A little bit more simple at MOKAO, right? Especially as far as garnishes go.
Right. I mean, well, MOKAO we did 60. This I had to do 5 of. So
it's different.
You have a different focus for sure.
I'm trying to pull up the MOKAO photo here.
Yeah, the MOKAO. It was still chicken-based broth, but I added coffee into it. So kind of the same line of thought, and I don't know what started what.
Yes.
But where I added the Recado Negro.
I cut your hand out of that photo, but it's still super cool.
Where the Recado Negro was like making the broth like more in depth, darker in color. I was like, oh, coffee's kind of like already has that bitter note, all those sort of things. So that's kind of that was the coffee element went into that.
Did you replace the Negro with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that it kind of came together beautifully. And then I didn't do seaweed in that pasta, but I did do a bunch of herbs. Okay. I actually think I took a bunch of pea sprouts from here because I still did the pea filling because I can't.
I mean, it's just like a rich, elegant, like just the color of the pasta looks
Yeah,
divine. Like, it looks good.
I wanted something decadent and delicious, and I think it was decadent and delicious. Oh, and I did, just to bring it full circle with the chocolate, I put a little white chocolate instead of butter into the filling.
I got you.
It's amazing how strong that is. Actually, I didn't do like a lot. I didn't like replace it 1-to-1. It was like, I'll just add a little bit as like a nod to we're also doing chocolate, and like I wasn't expecting to even taste it, and then
it came.
I was like, oh wow, that tastes like chocolate, like, but in a cool way though. Yeah,
it was weird. I'll admit, like Alan Sternberg's, his dish I think had like a layer of white chocolate, something, and then fish on top of that, and then like tomatoes on top of that, and like it works, but it was strange. It's a combo that I've never had.
I think it's cool. More props to anybody putting chocolate and fish together.
But it's that sweet savory combo that like
it's not weird if you could eat it without preconception. I think a lot of it's just we already are like, this is what chocolate is and this is what it has to be, and once we can kind of like drop this whole putting everything in a box, I think where delicious things can be a little more out there.
Just hearing it's fish and chocolate, you're like
you're
making some opinions before you try.
My stomach's rumbling.
It was beautiful. Like I would eat it again for sure. And I'm devastated that I didn't get to try yours. I think the reason is because like it was
dead in the middle of the whole event.
But it was like a presentation. I forget what you call it, where like servers would put the dish in front of the guest, and then somebody else would come and pour the broth on top of it.
Table side. I mean, that served two functions. One, I guess we did add the human element right next to the person, so it does feel it's cool to have this interaction with somebody. People like that, but it really has come from a practical perspective. That would just slosh around, and you'd be dropping
it. Hard to carry out. Yeah.
So,
but it was a stunning presentation. Like you got these really sick green gooseneck.
Yeah,
I pictures, just like a little tea kettle, and
I bought those for this setting. We chose green because it matched. Felt like it's like a watering pitcher or something.
Yes, but it was a stunning presentation. Like I adore the photo. Like it's so cool. But just the smells that broth put out. Like I think I was photographing someone else's dish, and I just like it hit me. And I had to just stop in my tracks for a bit. I was like, what am I smelling right now? And it was a gorgeous smell. So if it tasted just like a fraction of what it smelled like.
Let's just say it tasted that great.
But it was just like, it filled the room.
Awesome.
And it was gorgeous. And like, I'm upset. So if you bring this one back as well.
Sure. Let's bring them both back.
I would like, do it here in the greenhouse. Serve the two dishes. Like, dude, I'd be here in a heartbeat.
Cool. I'll let you know.
Yes, let's go. Anything else you want to talk about the MOKAO dish? So like, it was still like a chicken broth with coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
broth, and then
like you mentioned, it's hard to cook with those ingredients.
It is. Yeah,
it's like they chose the two hardest ingredients that were maybe not the hardest, but like two very polarizing ingredients.
Well, today, again, you had to make a savory dish out of chocolate is one thing. Like adding coffee, I think would be easier. Just you see it in barbecue rubs.
That's why I leaned more on the coffee side of things.
Yeah, but it's still a dominating flavor. Like I could see it taking over real fast.
Right. Well, and that's the other worry too. Is like because for an event like that, you're working with other chefs and peers that you respect, and you don't want to like.
Yeah.
I was course 3. I don't want chocolate and coffee can dominate, and I don't want my dish to dominate the next. The next plate going out. That's kind of I'm not doing my job. I'm not really helping anybody out by having this like palate blowing out flavor profile, and then somebody after me has this beautiful dish that just like can't
taste it anymore.
Right. Like so, I'm obviously not trying to do like dark chocolate Sichuan or something like that, where it's like good luck tasting anything after this sort of thing. So that honestly, that was even a bigger challenge of that too. That I know that all the other chefs had to take into account too. It's like how do you do a first course chocolate dish that doesn't just like coat your mouth and make it so you can't taste the salad that's next or something. So it was challenging for all of us. And
that'd be a fun conversation. It's just like, how do you build a dinner?
Right. No, that'd
be super cool.
It's something at least as I've gotten better at this, I think about, because there's things that like, yes, you always want to put delicious stuff in front of people, but like your past apps or your amuse-bouche or your first course for like a long tasting can't be this big, bold flavored thing.
Yeah.
Even if you want it to be, because it's kind of like you don't want it to go like this. You want it to build and get better. And so, yeah, it's down to even the level of salt that I add to things. I'm conscious of that. So it's
and I am not.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it's because I've fried my taste buds, but like I need flavors to be big and bold. Like that's why I love habaneros and Sichuan.
Well, I mean, and so it's like how do you do both? How do you have something delicious that's bold, but that like isn't where they build off of each other? And then this dish before that was great. Now this one's great because it's hitting my tongue in different ways. I mean, if I'm putting something in front of somebody, it's literally something I thought about for the World Food Championship was where was I in order of them tasting my stuff? Because if I was the first one up, this is the first thing they've eaten all day. Did the judge eat breakfast or something? Because it changes how you taste things. If you haven't had anything on your tongue at all, you actually perceive a lot more salt and a lot more flavor.
Oh, really?
Whereas if it's the second or third thing you're tasting, you kind of need to turn the volume up a little bit on those things.
So in the championship, did you know?
Yeah, we basically drew straws before every single time, and I always ended up going like last or near last, which was kind of I don't know if that helped me strategically, but it stressed me out a lot because I'm like
it would, yes.
I'm sitting around watching all these people compete, and I'm like, I just want this over with. So
yeah. Well, I know you said it was kind of staggered. So you're not the chefs aren't just or the judges aren't just eating something cold and out for hours.
They want to give you a fighting chance at least to like give them here's a warmer dish and here's my explanation of it in real time. So
I love all those cooking shows, but like there's no way I could ever be on one. It's intense.
I mean, I had the same thought too. I don't know.
But then you got through into it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily a show. There's a lot of cameras, but I don't know if it'll ever turn into a show. But
it's got to be somewhere. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there. I know that they're like working on some contract with some network. So I'm sure that's the trajectory of that. So.
Yes. Well, you said in Nate's episode that you might be doing it again. You want to go back?
I don't know if want to go back is the right way of putting it. I'm going to go back. It's not a requirement, but they do. They kind of give you a fast track in. Like for the next 5 years, I think I'm like just kind of grandfathered in to compete.
Nice.
So I guess it was fun. I had a good time. There was a lot of stress in ways that I don't seek out normally.
Yeah.
But I think I grew a lot as a person. And
I'd say so. Yeah, just listening to your episode with Nate.
And I had a lot of fun. Sometimes more in hindsight than in the moment, but like that's part of life too. I've got to meet a lot of people and have conversations like this and do cool things. So
that's right.
Why wouldn't I want more of that? So.
Yeah. Did you talk about what category you might pursue with Nate?
I don't know if I did or not. I'm going to do vegetarian.
Okay, I think that sounds familiar. So I think that's what you did say.
Yeah, I wanted to branch out a noodle, just because I don't know, been there, done that.
Sure. Could you do a vegetarian noodle?
I could. There's nothing stopping me from that. I think the only criteria is that's
vegan, right? So vegetarians, can have eggs.
Eggs for sure. Yeah,
vegan. A vegan noodle would be tricky, maybe.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean,
you got tricks.
There's some tricks out there. Gluten-free is where it gets a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
Or vegan gluten-free. That's where you're like, you're stacking a lot of things against it.
Seriously,
Not saying it can't be done. For all the gluten-free vegan people, you're eating great, but
nice.
It's more challenging for sure.
Well, definitely looking forward to paying more attention to that.
Sure,
because it's back here in Indy, at least one of the rounds this year, right?
Yeah, I think that unofficially they're trying to kind of have it forever here.
That'd be awesome.
So we'll see if that works out.
Yes,
it's still up in the air, but
it didn't work out for me to go last year. But like it's in my calendar this year, so I'm
definitely go. Well, I think it's earlier. It's going to be in October, so a little bit better weather because a lot of the competitions they have also is in the barbecue realm. So they do that outside.
Yeah.
So I think it was a big gamble last year doing it in November.
It's Indiana. It's going to be a gamble no matter what.
Yeah. But I think October's at least like a little
bit safer.
Yeah, a little bit safer.
Yeah. That's funny. Sick. Well, yeah. Pay attention to the World Food Championship. We can link them below.
Sure.
Definitely, pay attention to Colin's socials and
Yeah, would love that.
CRG
Please.
socials and follow the journey. With our remaining time, do you mind like diving into just doing pasta on your own?
Yeah.
I love where we went with your food so far, and we could spend like a whole couple episodes, I think, just really diving down and like really breaking apart your dish. But here on Okayest Cook, like we love making it more approachable,
right.
And pasta has just been insanely intimidating to me.
Sure.
I've got a really cool pasta book on my shelf, and I've looked at it.
Yeah.
But I've still yet to make my own pasta from scratch. And I've got this mental barrier that it's just like, it's going to be tricky. And for some reason, I can't get over that.
It's easy.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things to go wrong. Or, I mean, it's like a very narrow window of like hydration. I don't know if you've talked a bunch to people about like baker's hydration or something like that.
Not really.
Flour kind of does different things at different amounts of water it takes on.
Okay.
So it's really a matter of time, a matter of figuring out that exact ratio sort of thing. But
it's like how much water and then how long before you do something with it?
Right. I mean, pasta it's not nearly as complex as baking bread.
Okay.
So if you've baked bread and been somewhat successful at all, then
we had a sourdough episode.
You can easily do pasta. Pasta's easier than that, so you're fine. So
Dude.
it's really a matter of
Colton
going for it.
Colton's another one of the regulars here on the show, and
cool.
His wife does a ton of sourdough, and he gave me her list of stuff to do.
Sure. Yeah. No.
It was like a 12-page document.
Just
like, dude, no.
Just maintaining your starter for sourdough is a whole thing. I struggle with that. I'm good at killing them. I'm good at neglecting them and coming back, and they're everywhere on the counter. Pasta, super easy.
Nice.
I by no means consider myself an expert, but I learned a lot in the last half a year through this whole saga. Obviously, I'd made pasta prior to that in my career, but never at this extent.
You're not a pasta.
I wasn't a pasta guy. I got like I said, I kind of stumbled into this competition, and I stumbled into that category by just that was what they had available.
Sure.
I mean, in terms of fresh pastas, sky's the limit. Look into different recipes in terms of like dumplings out there too, because there's like a lot of cool like adding hot water versus cold water like does completely different things. But in terms of kind of your traditional egg pasta, I base what I've been doing roughly off of a recipe out of a book from this restaurant in San Francisco. The restaurant's called Flour and Water. Okay. They have a book by the same name, Flour and Water.
I'll look that up.
Yeah, and roughly the ratio is something like, I think it's 2 cups of flour. I do, but on a scale, it's always better on a scale. So 360 grams of double O flour if you can. AP flour works fine. And then you kind of split the difference between whole eggs and egg yolks. So looking for about 200 grams of total liquid you're putting into it. So I do 150.
So the water plus the eggs?
So no, I don't. So eggs are water based for the most part. So that is your water in this scenario.
Okay.
So I'm not adding any water to it. So I'd take 360 grams of double O flour. I add 150 whole eggs. It comes out to about 3 whole eggs cracked into it, and then about 3 egg yolks thereafter. So another 50 grams. And then there, just add a little bit of olive oil and salt and get mixing. It's a really hard dough to mix initially.
Okay.
And if you put in the work when kind of counterintuitive, like, oh, this seems dry, but you put in the work. Once you rest it, half an hour later, it's the easiest dough to work with, sort of thing. Whereas there's other doughs out there that like you can add a little bit more water. It's a little bit more pleasant of an experience to like shape it.
Start with,
it feels like you're making bread, sort of thing, and you're like, awesome. But then that's when you see chefs having to like throw flour on the counter, throw flour on the machine, like.
Too sticky.
It's very sticky, sort of thing. So I err on the drier side if possible. I mean, there's a limit. Obviously, you can make things too dry, so you have to get to a certain point. So part of it's also getting a feel for it. So trying it, I'd advise going tonight and doing it if you want.
Trust the ratios.
Start with trusting the ratio. Know that there's varying factors. I mean, today it's more humid. Yeah. It may need this much less water because it's already got it in it, sort of thing. But that's there's no science to it, I think. Or there is a science.
There's a lot of science.
There's no there's no perfect ratio given the amount of variables that we have for you doing it at home.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of just a feel for it, and
just got to do it.
At the end of the day, it's just food, like whatever.
Yeah.
Try it out. You liked it, cool. Do it again.
Yes.
If you didn't like it, tweak it. So
yes. So going back to your dishes, as far as like adding in cool things, seaweed, the herbs. You said you dried. Did you dry the peas sprouts before you put them?
No,
in?
I didn't dry them.
From
I kind of use that because again, vegetables are water based. I kind of use that as part of my ratio. So I like weighing everything out. It gives me a better sense of like where I'm at. So I just kind of took the weight that I would have gotten there with the egg and subbed that for the herb that I'm adding, whether it's basil, whether it's pea shoots or something.
Gotcha.
Seaweed, I didn't add that in by weight just because that is dried. But yeah, if you're adding something that's 95% water, you're pretty much just adding water. So, it gets you close enough at least.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool. And as far as like pasta architecture, for lack of a better word, so like the shape. Have you experimented with like different shapes and stuff like that?
I'm pretty novice at different shapes.
Okay.
And there's as many shapes as there are words in the Italian language.
Yes. Looking at that pasta book.
And all of them translate to literally the exact word it looks like. I mean, the easiest one is triangoli. It's a triangle. But awesome. As you see in the photos, I lean on what capelletti, which means like a little hat.
Okay.
I just like shaping it that way. I like the way it like makes this little cup that you can kind of have sauce sitting in it. So even if like you don't get like the sauce on the bottom or the broth on the bottom, still when you pick that up, it has this like it's like its own little spoon where it's holding its own set of sauce. So I like it for that.
For the people just listening, almost like a sombrero with the rim going up,
right?
Not down.
Yeah, exactly. So it just kind of picks up a little sauce for it.
I love that.
That's but yeah, there's a lot of cool shapes out there. Some a lot harder to roll than others.
Yes.
There's some cooler, trendy ones that are like you see restaurants doing it, and you're like, man, you spent like 4 times the amount of time rolling that versus if you just did like a tortellini. But
or just spaghetti. We'll cut them straight.
Right. So at the end of the day, it tends to be usually the same recipe unless you're working in like unless you're working with a pasta extruder, which is like a specific machine that kind of pushes it through. That's a different ratio of hydration. You're hydrating a lot less, but
we're not Bluebeard, so we'll
sure, yeah,
we're gonna do it on our counter here.
So eggs, I advise eggs. If you don't eat eggs, there are ways of doing around it, but if you can, it's gonna taste better and the properties are gonna be better. Like the protein in there helps kind of
texturally. Yeah, it's gonna be weird if you use an alternative.
Yeah, I wouldn't say weird, just different. Yeah.
Well, what are some pasta sins that we should avoid, like when we're doing it on our own? I mean, we talked a little bit about hydration, so like making sure that's dialed in. Are there any other like no-nos, like absolutely, like you don't want to put this in the dough when you're starting it, or even like sauce-wise? Like,
I mean, I'm not
just in your opinion, I guess.
I hear you. I'm trying to give you a good answer. I tend to not be this kind of person that's like, oh, that's not traditional, or oh, that's not how you do it, yada yada, and teach their own. There's plenty of people out there, and I get the argument. For me, it's food. You eat probably 3 meals a day, maybe more, maybe less, but like you're gonna move on, like whatever you do. But sin wise, in terms of if you're making it from scratch, you're gonna find out real quick. There are some time limitations. You can't rush the process too much because of the way gluten acts. So when you're first rolling the pasta together and forming it for the first time, you need to rest it. That's like I guess like the sin would be trying to ball it up and then like I'm gonna roll it into pasta right now. Like A, you're not gonna be able to do
dinner's
it.
in 30 minutes. We need pasta.
B, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be tough. You're never gonna get it thin. It's gonna be like rolling a rubber band where you got it this long, and as soon as you let go of it, it goes so but
similar to bread, like I'm probably just not resting my dough enough when it doesn't want to.
Yeah, you need to give it time to relax. I mean,
sure, I get that.
And when you have your scientists on and start talking about like the in depth of what's going on, they'll probably tell you a better reason. I mean, I understand like the general concept of developing gluten and kind of your you're unraveling strands of protein. And I don't know why it gets so tough there, but it gets tough. You need to give it probably, I'd say rule of thumb would be like 30 minutes.
It's the gluten's rigor. We'll say that.
Exactly. You need to go through the rigor mortis of
because we understand protein more than we understand gluten.
So, well, the gluten is protein, so it falls under the rigor. It quite literally might be that. So yeah,
we're gonna add that to the food scientist question. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. And if you've never checked out the book on food and cooking by Harold McGee,
I don't think I have.
Great.
Is it Kenji?
No,
is he another food scientist? A different book.
Kenji's another food scientist. Both hailing from the Bay Area.
I got Kenji's book.
Awesome.
What's the other one?
On food and cooking. So on food and cooking probably came out maybe 30 years before Kenji wrote a book. For sure, Kenji has referenced that a bunch, but Harold McGee.
Science and lore of the kitchen. Yeah. I love it.
total geek.
Yes.
It's I read it front to back, but I'm weird. But in terms
so starting out college, I was photography, chemistry, double major. It's like I've got just enough of that science brain.
Right.
Photography obviously won out, but I like the way things work. And so reading books like this and like Kenji's book has been really fun, just flipping through so far and just like gluten, like why?
Right.
Why do we need to do this? Like I'm really fascinated about what's going on internally. So love that recommendation.
Cool. Yeah. Definitely check that out. But Kenji, I'm glad you brought him up just because I'm a big fan. Especially when he used to write for Serious Eats. He doesn't do it anymore. He's branched out, but that's a really cool blog. If you've never checked out Serious Eats, and whoever's listening, Serious Eats, that's my personal go-to. If I'm doing a new recipe or something I'm unfamiliar with, I usually do a search of like whatever the food is, whatever the word is, Serious Eats, and I'll read what they did because they at least take a relatively scientific approach to things, and they're like, I tried 3 different things and this was best, and here's why.
Love it.
It's a great starting point for me because I'm the same way. I like to kind of, it helps me if I can wrap my head around why something works. Yeah. I think I'd always have a better outcome, regardless of. I may not like the recipe. I may think it's completely bogus, but it's a good starting point. So,
but you feel like you understand it more,
right?
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Sick. Well, any other closing thoughts on pasta? I mean, like most of our episodes, we just barely scratched the surface.
Sure.
But we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about those 2 cool dishes that you've done lately,
right?
And it's a touch on pasta, and we'll dive deeper later on.
I mean, I'm no expert on pasta. I can't say that I'm like everybody needs to know something about it or know this about me and pasta.
Well, in our initial chats, you said you weren't the authority.
I'm not.
I would say you are an authority.
Sure,
sure.
I'll take it. I nailed 1 dish down really well.
Two dishes.
2 dishes down really well. I don't know. Cooking food is fun. I think pasta.
It should be fun.
Yeah. And
if you're not having fun, change something.
100%. Yeah. Figure it out. What's wrong? What's going on? And it's such a neutral category. It's like sliced bread or rice or something. It's like it goes well with everything. It's
yeah. Well, like I said, there's so much room for personalization, and if you don't like this recipe, there's so many ways you can sub out different things and add coffee, add chocolate.
Nearly every culture and every cuisine has something that's like pasta or pasta adjacent.
Nice.
There's a reason for it. It's a pretty easy way to find food that's cheap and easy to grow and turn into something.
And it's filling. It works.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a reason why everybody eats it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So homework is just do it. Go home. Yeah. Just make pasta.
Go make pasta. Go out and eat pasta. Order pasta from restaurants. People put a lot of work into that. So.
One of Colin's restaurants. How many spaces do you guys manage at CRG?
CRG's got 43 restaurants.
43.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you're helping all those menus?
Yeah. Some of them kind of have like. A lot of them obviously are like a lot more chef driven, and they already have a chef there that they like. By no means do I need to go in there and tell them what to do. They are doing a great job, a better job than I could just show up and be like, "Oh, do this" sort of thing. So
you're more of like that supporting figure.
Yeah, I
need help.
I'm there to help. I mean, sometimes that turns into like a bit of a mentorship for maybe a younger chef that kind of like gets it, but doesn't have the years and years of repetition that I might have. So sometimes it's going in there and just being like, oh, do it this way. You didn't know this, but I did this 5 years ago like this. And other times it's, I'm writing whole recipes, putting that together in kind of a packet, almost like a small book, and then like training the chef, being like, hey, this is what we're going to do now. So that's more of like kind of our large scale concepts where there's multiple units. But the ones downtown, for the most part, they have chefs running those places doing a great job.
Gotcha.
It makes my job really easy. I just show up and eat their good food and say,
love it.
Cool.
Thumbs up.
Keep it up. Yeah.
So is it all Indiana based? Do you guys branch out?
Kentucky and Ohio as well. But
Awesome.
vast majority is Indiana.
Yeah. So I'm assuming if they just listeners go to Cunningham Restaurant Group's website, you can see a list of
Sure. Yeah. That's a great way of
all the
putting
pies
it.
you got your hands in.
Yeah. If
Nice.
you're looking around for it, your neighborhood probably has a restaurant or 3.
Gotcha. So if somebody's wanting to find you, like they want you to cook for them, is that like?
I mean,
do you do?
This is the challenging part. Is I tend to do only private events where I've done a few pop-ups with other people around here. So I guess your best bet.
Pay attention. Go to events like MOKAO.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, not to do too much of a mindless self-plug, but follow my Instagram. That's probably the closest thing to figuring out what I'm going to be up to next, where you might be able to get into. But outside of that, I've got my influences here and there on all those other restaurants that we mentioned. So
nice.
Just whatever.
So basically anything from Cunningham Restaurant Group, like your thumbprints in there somewhere.
Yeah, to a degree. Some more so than others, but yes.
Oh, yeah. Your thumbprints there.
I'm there.
You got it. 100%. Yeah. If you see an event here at Grow, come to it. Like just being here is super cool. And I think it's helping my allergies. Just like in this fresh space with all this extra oxygen and whatever pollen that hit me earlier yesterday. It's working out.
Didn't enter. Yeah. No, it's a pretty special place in here for sure.
I love it. Yeah, it's just so much basil. It's ridiculous. I want to see all the stuff you're doing with basil. Like,
sure. Yeah.
So there's got to be like a ton of basil in here, like a literal ton of basil.
It's a lot of it. It's definitely we grow the most basil, but
I love it. It's so cool. But dude, thank you so much for the conversation. Wrapping up here real quick, did you have a recipe that you want to share with us, or?
Is there something that we can just like plug in below, or do you want me to say it?
We can put it in the show notes. If you just want to give like a couple hot tips, or
I mean, let's
talk about it real fast.
Let's plug in that. I'll just take that straight ratio of pasta dough that I was making. We'll give you quite literally what I made, and I'll give you a few variations if you want to add basil or seaweed to that. I guess the tip, my advice to that is don't rush the process, because you can't. That's one of the few things that you can't force time. You can pressure cook some things. You can't pressure cook pasta dough into becoming better pasta dough. So
gotcha.
Go slow. Use your hands.
Love it. Real quick on that, you did mention using the blender.
So
at the competition, is that something you would not necessarily recommend?
Blender for just the liquid. I still once that liquid goes into flour, I use my hands.
Oh, okay.
You can use a KitchenAid. I mean, it'll work, but I would still finish with my hands, because you're kind of like looking for a texture. You're waiting for.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like the first person that taught me how to make pasta, they said knead it until it's smooth as a baby's butt. I don't take it that far. That's like that ends up being like 15 minutes of kneading on the table. You can get away with like 5 to 8 minutes of kneading, but you should for sure.
So what's a good? I guess like if like when you're eating the pasta, like how do you know if you've kneaded it enough? Like if you've under kneaded it, I guess like what would the
if you under kneaded it,
what would that texture be?
Great question. It may not even come together like it.
Okay.
I mean, you need a certain amount of mixing for it to even hold together. So I think if you under kneaded it, which you may be able to get away with, if it falls apart, you definitely need to work on it more. And if you're probably not going to really over knead it.
Okay. That was my next question.
Or if you do, it's going to be toughness is what you're potentially doing, and toughness and chewiness is what you're creating by kneading it more. So I guess if you over kneaded it, wait longer before you roll, and it's gonna tell you that it's not ready by like when you go to roll and you try to roll out like a pie-sized crust or something, and it just starts shrinking back in front of you. You know it's not ready.
Just
it needs more time. So
time.
don't let it dry out. Like wrap it in plastic, cover it with a wet tea cloth or something so it's not drying out.
Sure.
But just wait until once you're at a point where if you're rolling it with a rolling pin, you can kind of like get it to its shape, let go, and it still sits there.
Yeah.
You're good.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. Looking forward to seeing that recipe on the show notes. Check below if you haven't already. We'll post Cunningham Restaurant Group's website.
Sure.
Colin's Instagram.
Cool.
All the other things. Any other plugs you want to give? Anything cool coming up with the restaurant group? Any fun events?
I mean, we're always doing fun things.
Who knows when people are going to listen?
Right.
To this episode,
Nothing's like coming to mind right now. I mean, we've got a new restaurant that we're opening up in Lafayette, but that's not until that's like next year when it's actually happening. So that's still in the works. But if you're up in the West Lafayette area, look out for the Lawrence.
Ooh, but sounds ritzy.
Besides that, I'm just it won't be, but it does sound that way. Just keeping my head down and
keep working.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the stuff is phenomenal. I've loved what I've smelled so far. The restaurants are glorious. Like I've been to a few of them, and they're well worth the visit. So,
awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Keep up the hard work, and we'll see you around.
Yeah.
We'll
thank you.
See you at the food championships too. as a viewer, not a competitor. So we're out.
Awesome.